Call 7 friends and tell them, what did you learn today? Why is it that this revolution is working? Tell them why the model that we've had is not working. It's just not working. We're not getting change. It's time for that revolution. We are well overdue. No more status quo. No more status quo. No more status quo. Come on, guys. No more status quo. No more status quo. No more status quo.
I want to remind everybody that tomorrow is April 19th, and Bernie Sanders' name is going to appear on the Democratic primary ballot for President of the United States. Some people have told me that it's just not going to happen, and they use words like insurmountable. So I want to say to all those people tonight to please look around you, because it's happening, whether or not they believe it. And the really good news for us is that it's going to depend on each and every one of us, and from where I'm standing right now, it looks pretty damn good, because we're not going anywhere. So this is our chance. It's a pivotal moment in history, because we can elect a president who stands for what is good and honest and excellent in all of us. A champion for every single one of us, because his eyes are open and he recognizes the innate humanity of every single person in this world.
I'm proud to stand here with you tonight, representing 2 organizations which joined the political revolution many months ago. The Working Families Party and the Communication Workers of America. I'm sure you all know by now, 39,000 CWA members and IBEW members went on strike at Verizon, the greediest corporation this side of Goldman Sachs. Here's what we want you to do. Go out to the picket lines. Don't cross the picket lines. Don't go to Verizon Wireless. Stand in solidarity with this fight for good jobs. Now let me say a word about the Working Families Party. In 11 states across America, but especially here in our home state, we are thrilled to pour our heart and soul into the Bernie Sanders campaign. First, because we're a political party that believes in movements, not just in campaigns. And the Bernie Sanders campaign is not just a campaign, it's a movement. A movement that has already changed America. It has put the issues that you and Bernie and the WFP have always cared about. Income inequality, workers' rights, the fight against racism, the fight to break the power of Wall Street, the fight to end the stranglehold of big money over our so-called democracy.
And we cannot succeed unless each and every one of you gets involved. So grab 5, 10, or even 20 of your friends and start canvassing. We need to make sure every registered Bernie supporter goes out to the polls tomorrow. Because when you get out to vote, you are making a difference for America. You are telling every African American child they are safe.
Please welcome Fisher Stevens.
New York, big city of dreams. Everything in New York ain't always what it seems. You might get fooled if you come out of town, but I'm down by law, and I know my way around. All right. Hello, everybody. Amazing crowd for an amazing man. I am standing in front of you today because 3 days ago I became a father to a baby girl. And electing Bernie Sanders as the next president of the United States. I'm sure that my daughter and my 2.5-year-old son can live in a country that will keep them safe from war and environmental devastation. Bernie Sanders will be a president that all of our kids and grandkids and nieces and nephews can be proud of. Think about our children and think about our children's children. Think about the beautiful planet we live on and think about the one candidate who understands the importance of keeping this place that we call home as healthy as it deserves to be. The one candidate who cannot be bought. The one candidate who is truly a public servant. The one candidate we all need to vote for and get our friends to vote for on tomorrow. Bernie Sanders.
I'm so proud of you. Look at you. Give yourself a hand. Give yourself an applause.
I could write a book. I could fill a book on reasons that I have. But one thing that I know, when I was born and I grew up during the time of segregation. Now, I was born and raised in San Francisco, California. Born and raised in San Francisco. But I would go home to my mother's home, my family home in Georgia. And I would experience what people live in Georgia. Segregation. I would experience laws that would mean that I would have to drink at a separate water fountain. I would have to use a separate toilet. I would have to use a separate door. All those kind of things in there. Those things have impacted me. It impacted me when I started to think about what role do I play as a citizen and what role do I play in terms of social justice. When I saw Bernie Sanders being arrested, footage of him, photographs of him, I knew that this wasn't just an ordinary candidate, somebody who would take on this mantle of justice at some point in time, just in his near future, but had been there all through his particular life. And that's what he is. That's what Bernie Sanders is. He represents us. He talked about those issues. He talked about the issues, the need of a political revolution of working people and poor people and people. That's the journey that Sanders had talked about. That's why we're standing here. That's why Fisher is standing here. That's why we're all here today. And the mounds and the millions of us who are mounted around this country in a campaign to elect Bernie Sanders.
A political revolution. Let me thank Mika Constant, Connor Paulo, Bob Masters, Nina Lum, Fisher Stevens, and a very dear friend his whole life, fighting for social and racial and economic justice, Danny Glover. This is a campaign on the move. This is a political revolution sweeping America. When we started this campaign, we were 70 points behind Secretary Clinton. Today, in some national polls, we are winning. Out of the last 9 caucuses and primaries. And if we get a large voter turnout tomorrow, we're going to win here in New York.
democracy is not about super PACs and Wall Street and billionaires making large campaign contributions. That is not democracy, that is oligarchy, and together we will turn that around. No president, not Bernie Sanders or anybody else, can do what has to be done to protect the working families and the middle class. Can't do it alone. We need a political revolution. And you are that revolution. In a democracy, if we choose to understand that democracy is not a spectator sport, but each and every one of you are powerful people that can help transform this country, there is nothing we can't do. What I think is that if you give a speech for $225,000, it must be an extraordinary speech. It must be a brilliant, insightful speech which will enable us to solve many of the global crises that we face. It must be a speech written in Shakespearean prose. And for those reasons, I think the Secretary should share that speech with all of us. A rigged economy is an economy which has more income and wealth inequality than any other major country on earth. It is not American. It is not what our country is supposed to be about when the top 0.1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. We are going to be investing for our young people in jobs and education, not jails and incarceration. And what working people are telling me is they cannot make it on $9 or $10 an hour. We need to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Hillary Clinton thinks we should raise it to $12. She's wrong. We need $15 an hour. A great nation is judged by how it treats the weakest and most vulnerable amongst us. Today, in my state, in your state, all across this country, there are millions of seniors, disabled veterans, and people with disabilities who are trying to get by on $11,000 or $12,000 a year Social Security. And you know what? Nobody can get by on $11,000 or $12,000 a year. Now, my Republican colleagues in the Senate, they got a brilliant idea. They want to cut Social Security.
Screw the GOP!
We got bad news for them. They're not going to cut Social Security. We're going to expand Social Security. And I have talked to scientists all over our country and all over the world. The debate is over. Climate change is real. Climate change is caused by human activity. It is already, as you know, causing devastating problems in this country and around the world. And what the scientists tell us, and this is scary stuff, if we do not get our act together in the next very few years, a bad situation will become much worse in terms of drought, floods, extreme weather disturbances, rising sea levels, destruction of the ocean, and more international conflict as people fight over limited natural resources. We have a moral responsibility to leave this planet, our only planet, in a way that is healthy and habitable to future generations. We're going to see an explosion of solar and wind and geothermal. Create millions of decent paying jobs in this country. Healthcare is a right of all people. This campaign is about it. It's much more than just electing a president. It is empowering our entire people. It is understanding that each and every one of you are very powerful people when you choose to exercise that power. And tomorrow is a good first step in exercising that power. The Democratic primary here in New York State.
We're gonna win it! We're gonna win it!
It's an enormously important primary because there are a lot of delegates at stake. My experience has been in this campaign so far is that we win when the turnout is high, we lose when the turnout is low. Tomorrow, let us all do everything we can to make sure that we in a Democratic primary in its history. New York State can help take this country a giant step forward for the political revolution. Let's do it!